I just want to say I recorded this kind of real loud, so if you got headphones in, it'll be wise for you to turn it down because it will get loud. Because I thought I was recording it low, so I turned it to the max. So please, it's gonna be loud. So if you got headphones, turn it down. I got this video that I want y'all to watch with me. It's basically touching on. I'm gonna put the person's channel. I'm gonna tag the person's channel because this person's channel. I was browsing YouTube and I came across this channel and the video. I watched a little bit of the video. I ain't watched the whole video. I'm going to make this a commentary, kinda, sorta, but I just really want to watch this video with y'all. So that out of the way, past cool. Let's watch this video, y'all.
Imagine living in a thriving black community where you could find refuge from discrimination and violence in the days when racism was at its peak. Such communities existed in the United States during segregation, and at least 200 of them were established by 1888. But as time passed, many of these communities disappeared from the map, completely erased from history. You may ask, how is that even possible? Why were these towns deliberately hidden and erased? And what can we learn from this dark and troubling part of American history? In this video, we will reveal some of the major black towns now hidden underwater or transformed into something else, and their black inhabitants displaced. The first is the Seneca Village in New York City. Seneca Village, a once thriving African-American community, was established in 1825 on the outskirts of New York City at a time when African-American residents were facing.
I just want to say this right here, this part right here, being that I live in New York, we do know that Central Park was actually like the first black area that blacks settled, and due to race, well, I'm not gonna say racism, but due to white supremacy, they got, it's not there no more. So you know what happened, and he gonna tell you. Thank you. So I'm glad. Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all just watch it.
Seeing legal segregation and discrimination throughout the country. At its height, the village covered an area from 82nd Street to 89th Street on Manhattan's Upper West Side, with approximately 300 black residents living within its borders. The people of Seneca Village had a deep sense of community and worked hard to build a prosperous and thriving neighborhood. Many black residents were property owners, with a rate 5 times higher than the city's average. Seneca Village had 3 churches, a school, and various small businesses, such as a grocery store, a shoemaker, and a blacksmith.
I just want to say this. Remember when I had said in my other video about Tulsa, Oklahoma, Seneca Village. This community was also a black thriving community. They had grocery stores, blacksmiths, and shoemakers. All right, let me just go ahead.
However, the residents of Seneca Village faced many challenges, including discriminatory laws that restricted their freedoms and opportunities. As the city of New York began to expand and urbanization took hold, many wealthy New Yorkers sought to improve the area by creating a large park, which is now known as Central Park. In 1855, the New York State Legislature passed the act to lay out a public park in the city of New York, which authorized using the eminent domain to seize land to create Central Park.
Alright, now this part right here kind of bothers me. So you mean to tell me that these mofos decided to create a park? They wanted a park. Great. You want a park? Okay, you want to make a park. But why you had to get rid of all you had to get rid of, you mean to tell me you people had to get rid of a whole black village just to make their home place a park? Bro, how does that make sense? And how you can't tell me that's not racism, bro. You can't tell me that's not white supremacy, bro. When you trying to using your money. They already have financial security. They're already doing their thing financially. They got blacksmiths, shoemakers, churches, grocery stores. They have their own economic system. But you destroying that system with racism, bro. Remember I told you about racism is the control of all financial opportunities? They doing this shit. They using white supremacy to destroy the black community. It's a black village, bro. Why should black folks have to give up their whole land, their whole place where they reside, just to make it a excuse my language, just to make it a park? Come on, bro. At the expense of our livelihood. We live in here. This is what we live at. This is where we stay. And because you want to build a park, you want to pass legislation that's going to make us have to vacate the area we reside in. How does that make sense, bro? Like, how is that fair? Just because they want to urbanize the city? Y'all starting to see how it's working, man. This is for my Africans in the diaspora. Y'all starting to see how everything transpired.
The residents of Seneca Village were accused of being a public nuisance and were forced to leave their homes to make way for the park's construction. The community was disbanded by 1857, and the residents were forced to relocate somewhere else, mainly to Manhattan's Lower East Side. The erasure of Seneca Village is one of many examples of systemic racism and forced displacement of black communities throughout American history. The people of Seneca Village had built a thriving and prosperous community against all odds, only to be pushed aside by the government and the wealthy elite. The loss of Seneca Village was a traumatic event for the African American residents who were forced to leave their homes and businesses behind. Today, the only remnant of Seneca Village is a commemorative plaque dedicated in 2001 to the Lost Village. The story of Seneca Village serves as a reminder of the many vibrant black communities lost due to discrimination and systemic racism.
This is to show that even New York had a thriving all-black community that was good. Bro, we were good because of hatred, jealousy, and fucking racism, bro. Excuse my language. It just pisses me off because I'm learning more as we go. Bro, this is crazy.
In the United States. But while this seems traumatic, many African Americans in Alabama faced a more devastating incident. Before we get into that, we'd like to introduce a new segment called Black Business Spotlight. Part of our mission is to uplift and empower the culture, and a great way to do that is by supporting Black-owned businesses. So today, we'd like to share with you a company that focuses on empowering the community through reading and education. DTR 360 Books.
Hey, what's going on, family? Assalamu alaikum, shalom, shalom, hotep, Islam, Alafia. So listen, DTR 360 Books is the fastest online bookstore right now. Alright, we have everything from comic books. Alright, we have everything from history books. That's right, we got this bad boy. We have everything like health books, and we got children's books, religious books, listen, anything, you name it, we got. Alright, definitely listen, click the link in the bio, DTR360books.com, and find out what's all the hype about. Listen, a reading people is a rising people. So let's rise, family. You can't go anywhere without proper education.
You need education.
It's so important that we buy black and keep the dollar in our community. If you'd like to support DTR 360 Books, click the first link in the description. Now let's get back to the video. Link in the description. Now let's get back to the video. Kowaliga in Alabama. Lake Martin is a beautiful destination in Alabama, famous for its crystal clear waters, boating activities, and stunning sunsets. However, the lake has a dark history that few people know. Underneath the tranquil waters of Lake Martin lies the ruins of Kowaliga, a once thriving African American community founded in the late 19th century. Kowaliga was established by John Benson, a formerly enslaved person who had purchased thousands of acres of land in Alabama and sold it to other African American families. The community grew and prospered with its black-owned railroad and was home to the Kowaliga Academic and Industrial Institute.
You see, I'm learning something right here, right now. I honestly didn't know that there was an all-black community called Kowaliga. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Y'all, I'm learning with y'all. You feel me? We learning together. So, I didn't know. You feel me? So, I'm using this video for commentary purposes. This is fair use. You feel what I'm saying? I'm using this video for commentary purposes. I'm also going to be shouting at the persons whose video this is. This is not my content. I do not own this content. I'm actually just, commentary, using this video for commentary purposes. I'm going to shout out the original person of the channel that I'm actually on to watch this video. I'm also going to be shouting out the person's video. Well, channel, actually. Giving them all the credit that they need. Because this is not my video. Again, this is not my video. This is not my content. But I am going to give credit to the person channel that this video was on, because this person's video is actually informative and educational to me myself. When I first came across it, I was like, oh, this is cool, but I didn't watch the whole thing, so I'm watching the whole thing with y'all. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm gonna give credit to the person whose channel this is, but I'm just learning. I didn't know that it was a whole I didn't even know that. I know it's gonna be a lot more, but I gotta keep stopping it and kind of saying something. But yeah, but I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it play through. I'm gonna stop it probably like at, I don't know. I'm gonna stop probably like at 8 minutes or something. I'm not gonna keep stopping it, but I didn't know this though. I didn't know this, cause I honestly thought that, I didn't know. I can't even say what I thought, cause you know what I mean. It'll be me just speculating. I didn't know, so it's good to know now that actually people who were enslaved was actually buying land, and I didn't know that. I really didn't know that. So I'm learning this today.
This school provided education and vocational training to African American students. The school helped prepare generations of African American students to succeed in a world often hostile to them. Unfortunately, Kowaliga's success was short-lived. The rise of the Ku Klux Klan and a lack of economic opportunities for African Americans in the area led to the community's decline in the 1920s. By the 1950s, the once thriving community had all disappeared. In the 1960s, the Alabama...
You see? You see? See what I was saying? Bro, they be destroying history, bro. They good at destroying. Them motherfuckers is, excuse my language, them mofos is smart at destroying some history. They really, that's why I cannot stand. Whoever got hate in their blood need to just die. Period. Because hatred is not needed nowhere. Nobody needs hatred. You know what hatred does? It wipes out whole communities like this. I'm not gonna say. I'm just saying, hatred is bad, bro. Hatred is bad. You can't hate nobody. You feel what I'm saying? Hatred is bad. So if you carry hate in your blood or in your heart, whatever, you deserve to get rid of, man. Cause you the problem. You're a problem. And if you jealous too, like jealousy is a bad thing. How the fuck? Excuse my language, y'all. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, white Caucasian folks, you see the Ku Klux Klan, right? The KKK. That's another thing that we had to deal with. My Africans in the diaspora, my Africans all over the world. Us Black Americans have to deal with the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan. You feel me? Which is if you ask me, they're a terrorist group. You feel what I'm saying? They're a homegrown terrorist group that went around terrorizing black communities and black folks for no reason, bro. No reason. Just because they had white privilege. And they was extremely racist and extremely prejudiced. You feel what I'm saying? You see what they did? They destroyed a whole black community that was thriving for no reason, bro. For no reason.
Power Company purchased the entire land to build a hydroelectric dam, which led to the creation of Lake Martin. The loss of Kowaliga was a devastating blow to Alabama's black community. It is just one of the many mind-boggling examples of how black communities in America were systematically destroyed and forgotten throughout history. Despite this erasure, efforts are being made to preserve the memory of Kowaliga and honor its legacy. The Kowaliga Historical Society was established to preserve and promote the history of Kowaliga and its contributions to Alabama and the United States. The society has created a museum that showcases the community's rich history, including exhibits on John Benson and the Kowaliga Academic and Industrial Institute. The society also organizes tours of the area and hosts events celebrating Kowaliga's heritage. In addition to the work of the Kowaliga Historical Society, other organizations are also working to preserve and honor the community's memory. The Alabama Historical Commission has designated Kowaliga as a historical site, and the National Park Service has recognized the town's contributions to the Civil Rights Movement. The legacy of Kowaliga lives on through the efforts of those who seek to honor and remember the community and its contributions to Alabama.
I kind of probably talked over some of it, so I'm gonna just rewind it back a little bit. My bad, y'all. I got into my emotions, bro. Like I'm just passionate, bro. Like I'm really passionate about, my people, and I don't like it.
Created a museum that showcases the community's rich history, including exhibits on John Benson and the Kowaliga Academic and the many mind-boggling examples of how black communities in America were systematically destroyed and forgotten throughout history. Despite this erasure, efforts are being made to preserve the memory of Kowaliga and honor its legacy. The Kowaliga Historical Society was established to preserve and promote the history of Kowaliga and its contributions to Alabama and the United States. The society has created a museum that showcases the community's rich history, including exhibits on John Benson and the Kowaliga Academic and Industrial Institute. The society also organizes tours of the area and hosts events celebrating Kowaliga's heritage. In addition to the work of the Kowaliga Historical Society, other organizations are also working to preserve and honor the community's memory. The Alabama Historical Commission has designated Kowaliga as a historical site, and the National Park Service has recognized the town's contributions to the Civil Rights Movement. The legacy of Kowaliga lives on through the efforts of those who seek to honor and remember the community and its contributions to Alabama and the United States. And this is not the only city underwater, as right below the serene water of Lake Lanier is a land that was once thriving with human activities. Oscarville in Georgia. Lake Lanier in Georgia is a popular destination for weekend getaways, attracting visitors with its abundant fishing, boating, and other recreational activities. The lake spans over 38,000 acres and has over 692 miles of shoreline. It is located in the northern part of Georgia and serves as a major source of water supply for the city of Atlanta. However, what many people don't know is that the lake has a dark past. It sits on top of the ruins of Oscarville, a thriving African-American community that was destroyed as far back as 1912. Oscarville was a small black community located in the northeastern part of Forsyth County, Georgia. The community was established in the late 1800s and was home to over 100 black families. The residents of Oscarville were hardworking farmers, carpenters, and other tradespeople who were able to establish a self-sufficient community despite the oppressive Jim Crow laws at the time. In September, 2 alleged assaults against white women were reported in the county. 2 black men were arrested, along with 4 accomplices. Shortly after, the body of a white resident was found, and several black residents were named as suspects. To provide safety, 1 suspect was transferred, but a mob of angry white residents gathered outside the jail. They seized and beat another suspect to death before hanging him in the town square. After the trials and executions, a group of white men, known as Night Riders, began a campaign of terror against the black residents of Oscarville.
Remember I was telling y'all my Africans in the diaspora? This is what I was telling y'all. We had to deal with terror all the time. I didn't mention nothing about the KKK. I didn't mention about the radical white racist groups that were created to basically terrorize black communities and destroy black economic systems. To destroy the people. Like basically just to terrorize us for no reason, bro. This now y'all seeing it. Everybody who's from Africa and the diaspora, y'all seeing it for yourself, bro. This is what we had to deal with. And think about it. These people who's in these white robes, they had kids. Their kids had kids. And their kids' kids had kids. You feel me? So these are their ancestors. And their descendants are the ones who are in power today. Systematic racism still exists today. Because they found a new way to be prejudiced. They found a new way to prevent people from being fully developed and have financial opportunities, which is the systematic racism that we still dealing with today through white supremacy. This is white supremacy right here. Right here. This is it. This is it. This is the group that was created to destroy us as a people. This is why we formed the Black Panthers. Credit to Fred Hampton and Huey. What is it? I'm sorry. Fred Hampton and Huey Newton. Almost. Respect to those ancestors. Respect to those kings, man. Power to the people. You feel what I'm saying? Because my grandpa was a Black Panther as well in the chapter in Brooklyn. So I got that revolutionary blood flowing through my veins. You feel what I'm saying? So. This is why we had to create the Black Panthers. You feel what I'm saying? And then when the Black Panthers got infiltrated and disbanded, this is why they created street gangs. Mainly the Crips. The Crips got created because they need people to protect the community. You feel what I'm saying? That's what street gangs is supposed to be for, to protect the community of black folks. That's why I'm like, yo, if you in a gang and your purpose of your gang is not to protect black people, your gang is fucking part of the problem. Get rid of it. We don't want it.
Burned homes, churches, and schools, forcing black families to flee the area. More than 1,000 residents were displaced in the aftermath of the violence. The land where Oscarville once stood was eventually purchased by the Army Corps of Engineers, who built Lake Lanier on top of the remains of the destroyed community. The construction of the lake began in the 1950s and was completed in the 1960s. The lake is now a popular destination for recreation and serves as a major source of hydroelectric power for the region. Today, there are reports of eerie occurrences and ghost sightings around the lake, adding to its already haunting history. Many visitors to the lake have reported seeing strange lights, hearing ghostly voices, and feeling a sense of unease in certain areas.
That's our answer. As they should. You disturbing
have reported seeing strange.
I don't understand. I don't know if Caucasian people know about the afterlife or about ancestors or about magic and all about the other side, but the other side exists, bro. You think you think our ancestors are gonna die in vain and not try to set some type of path or guidance to the descendants that they have still alive today? You think they just gonna leave us abandoned without knowing anything about what's going on? They're with us in spirit all the time. You don't just die and that's it. You feel what I'm saying? I don't know who thinks that, but I feel like these wicked Caucasian people feel as if the only way to get rid of somebody is to kill them, and that's be the end of them. That's not it. That's not it. There's spirit. There's the other side, bro. You still gotta deal with that. The forces that you can't see.
Lights, hearing ghostly voices, and feeling a sense of unease in certain areas.
And the only reason why I'm saying that is because they felt like, okay, if you destroy the black community and then you build on top of it, you think them people who inhabited that area, who lived in that area, are not going to come back in spirit to the place they was residing at? Do you not think that that's how to, like how could you possibly think that you could just get? I don't understand, bro. Like, this is why I'm so confused, because why destroy black communities that were thriving if they wasn't bothering nobody? They just leave black people the fuck alone. Excuse me, just leave us alone. Let us build our communities. Let us live. Let us thrive. Let us rock. We can't rock because, like, bro, nowadays they got all these other races coming into the community of black folks to try to disrupt our progress. You feel what I'm saying? Through gentrification. You feel what I'm saying? Then they had something that was called redlining, where, you know, people weren't able to go into other neighborhoods because they thought that the low income neighborhoods were considered hazardous. Then they had reverse redlining, where people would come into low income areas, and investors and insurers would actually buy that property that's in a low income communities, and use gentrification, put other new models of a residence in that community, and move new people in that community. Basically, you ostracizing the people that already live there. When you put most of non-black people in the black community, you ostracizing us. You depleting, you dwindling our numbers. And I only get to that because that's the reality that we deal with today. There's black communities that are thriving, but they're mostly now mixed race. You feel me? Like, no disrespect to no other race, man. I just have to mention race because it's a topic that's kind of general. You know, we can't just ignore the fact that, you know, there's a lot of other ethnicities or nationalities or races that, you know, that's right here, man, that the Caucasian folks are using, or the white supremacy, I should say, is using to basically disrupt our growth. But I digress. Let me get back to the video.
Some believe that the ghosts of the former residents of Oscarville are still present at the lake, haunting the place where their homes and communities once stood. The story of Oscarville and its destruction is a horrifying example of the violence and depression encountered in African American communities throughout American history. However, efforts are being made to preserve the memory of Oscarville and honor the lives of those who were lost. The Black Student Union at the University of North Georgia has created a scholarship in the memory of the victims of the Oscarville lynching, and there are ongoing efforts to uncover more information about the community and its history.
That's the thing. There's tributes going to the people that live there, which is good. God bless our ancestors, man. But why is there not being no criminal charges being brought up? Why we not going back to find out? I mean, can you even do that? I mean, if you could do that, do that. You feel what I'm saying? Like, there should be people held accountable. But then this brings the question: how you not gonna give us reparations if white folks, Caucasian folks, blatantly destroyed every community that was thriving? How you not give us reparations because you motherfuckers is the one? Excuse my language. I'm passionate, bro. Like, this is really breaking my heart, bro. Like, how do you not decide to give us reparations when you destroyed our stuff? Purely out of hatred, purely out of jealousy. What else was there? We didn't bother you. We didn't go to white communities and be like, oh, let's start a problem here. Let's start doing this to them. No. Clearly they was jealous of us. Been jealous of us since day one. They've been jealous of us since we was living amongst ourselves in Africa. That's why they decided to take us from Africa, bring us all the way over here to America, and have us build this world for them. We built America for them. Because they knew how good of a people we are, how civilized we are, how great of a work ethic we have. You feel me? Like, there's a lot of things that we have that they couldn't attain, let alone have the ability to do. They ain't have the ability to do none of the stuff that we was able to do. That's why they had to take us from our homeland and bring us here, and then do this type of shit to us when we try to just, you know, branch off and do our own little thing. You know, why? Like, I don't understand. What was the point of you? Like, why? And then because they didn't have no real reason to go off on to you know, to destroy the community, they'll make up something. Somebody will say, "Oh, a white woman got raped," and because there's a bunch of black guys around, like what the hell do these black men got to rape a white woman for when most of these guys got wives, and they got plenty of black women to choose from, let alone rape a white woman, bro? Are you serious now? Now I can't speak for the brothers who back in the days who probably had that type of, you know, that type of urge. Now, if those brothers right, though, they're wrong. Period. Point blank, they're wrong. But for those, I'm speaking for the majority of the brothers who back in them days who did not have no reason at all to rape a white woman or even go down that road. Knowing you got a bunch of people who hate you already, the slightest tidbit of anything can spark a race war. And guess what? That's all these racist supremacy, these white supremacists was waiting for. They was waiting for something to spark a race war so they can destroy what we built. Because why? Not because we was bothering them. Not because, you know, I can't even fathom a reason why you would do that, though. Why would you want to destroy a black community that's thriving? They're minding their own business. They're doing their own thing. All right, let me stop, bro, because I'm getting sidetracked. All right, let me keep going.
In recent years, there has been a renewed interest in the history of Oscarville and other similar communities in the South. Organizations like the Georgia Trust for Historic Preservation have worked to document the history of black communities in Georgia and advocate for their preservation. The Forsyth County Historical Society has also taken steps to recognize the history of Oscarville and other lost communities in the area. Despite the efforts to preserve the memory of Oscarville, the community's history remains largely unknown to the general public. Many visitors to Lake Lanier are unaware of the story beneath the water's surface, but it doesn't end here. Vanport in Oregon is another place now buried underwater. Vanport in Oregon. During World War II, the United States witnessed an unprecedented surge in its manufacturing and industrial sector. To support the war effort, this period saw the rapid growth of shipyard industries, which became vital in producing warships and military supplies. One of the shipyards was located in Vanport, Oregon, which quickly became the second largest city in the state. The shipyard industry offered job opportunities, and many people migrated to the city in search of work. As the demand for labor increased, African Americans from the southern states were drawn to the shipyard industry in search of better job opportunities. However, due to systemic racism, the Albina neighborhood was the only place where black people could legally reside. The Albina neighborhood soon became too small to accommodate the growing population, and a solution was needed to address the housing crisis. Vanport was built as a temporary solution to house these new workers. The city was built on a floodplain, and this decision would have devastating consequences. At its peak, Vanport housed 40,000 residents, with 40% of them African American. Unfortunately, in 1948, disaster struck the city when the Columbia River flooded the neighborhood. The floodwaters destroyed the town within a day, displacing over 18,500 families, more than a third of whom were black Americans. The aftermath of the flood exposed the systemic racism that existed in Oregon. White supremacists attempted to keep black Americans out of the state, and the state legislature passed laws to preserve the state predominantly white. The Oregon Black Exclusion Laws restricted black people from owning property or settling in the state, a practice that continued for several years. Even after the laws were repealed in 1956, the legacy of systemic racism lived on. The former residents of Vanport never forgot their lost community and fought for years to preserve its memory. The Vanport Mosaic Festival is held annually to honor the lives lost and celebrate the city's rich history. The festival showcases the city's diverse cultural heritage and aims to educate people about the history of Vanport. The festival features a variety of events, including live performances, exhibits, and oral histories from former residents. The legacy of Vanport still resonates with the residents of Portland today. The city has a troubled history of racism and segregation, with the African American population facing numerous obstacles, including access to education, housing, and job opportunities.
That's crazy, yo. Black folks in this place, they didn't want to help them get settled in somewhere.
Including access to education, housing, and job opportunities. However, in recent years, the city has progressed in addressing these issues. It has launched various initiatives to improve the quality of life for the African American community, including affordable housing, job training, and education programs. The Vanport Mosaic Festival is a testament to the resilience of the former residents of Vanport who fought to preserve the memory of their lost community. While progress has been made in recent years to address the legacy of systemic racism in Portland, much work still needs to be done to achieve equality and justice justice for all. Next is Susanna, a former village in Alabama, now home to a large lake. But before we get into it, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Thank you for the support. We aren't just telling stories, we're changing lives and waking the culture up. Now let's get back into it. Seneca Village in Alabama. Seneca was one of the most prosperous and thriving small towns in Tallapoosa County, Alabama. This charming farming community boasted a wealth of businesses, including a bank, sawmill, grist mill, post office, and even its own gold mine, situated on Blue Creek between Curry's Point and Still Waters. Susanna was a beacon of hope for pioneers seeking a new life in the American South. But sadly, Susanna's bright future was not to be. In the early 20th century, the construction of Lake Martin resulted in the town's submergence underwater. The once vibrant streets and bustling businesses were lost forever, leaving only memories and scattered remnants of the past. According to Alabama Living, the flooding of Susanna resulted in the relocation of over 900 bodies from cemeteries in the area. This poignant fact underscores the depth of loss experienced by the people of Susanna, who saw their homes and loved ones swept away by the rising waters. Despite its tragic fate, Susanna's legacy lives on in the hearts and minds of Alabamians and history buffs alike. The town's former glory is evidenced by the wide range of...
Alright, I don't mean to stop it, but this right here just comes to show that Alabama right now, to this day in 2023, Alabama has a bad rep. Really. That state has a bad rep for being a ain't crap state. Poverty, a bunch of illiterate, ignorant, uneducated black folks. But this shuts that all down, because that's a stereotype. You see for yourself, there were two booming black communities, if I'm not mistaken, that existed in Alabama that were dismantled and flooded. Or if they weren't, I don't think both of them were flooded, but they were both dismantled in Alabama.
Businesses it once supported, including a gold mine, a school, 2 mercantile stores, a grist mill, a flour mill, a sawmill, a blacksmith shop, and a church. These varied enterprises served as a testament to the ingenuity and perseverance of the people of Susanna, who built a thriving community from the ground up. And lastly, it is the once vibrant Ferguson town in South Carolina. Ferguson town in South Carolina. Ferguson, South Carolina, was once a thriving lumber town, founded in the 1880s by Francis Beadler and Benjamin F. Ferguson. The town was established to support the operations of the Santee River Cypress Lumber Company, which was responsible for harvesting old-growth timber from the Blackwater River wetlands in central South Carolina. The firm owned and controlled over 165,000 acres of land, mainly of bald cypress timber. The founders of the Santee River Cypress Lumber Company were both northern lumbermen from Chicago who saw an opportunity to capitalize on the rich timber resources of the South. They purchased large tracts of land and built a sawmill and a kiln to process the timber into finished products, such as railroad ties and lumber. Ferguson was constructed to house the workers operating the sawmill and other facilities. To attract workers to the town, Beadler and Ferguson invested in the infrastructure of the new village. They built paved streets, provided indoor plumbing, and installed street lighting with coal gas. The company town system was used to exploit workers, who were paid in an untransferable currency that could only be used at the company store. The town's workers and their families depended entirely on the company for their livelihoods, as there were no other sources of employment in the area. Despite exploiting workers, the town of Ferguson thrived for several decades. The sawmills cut wood, and the kiln produced treated wood products, including creosote-infused railroad ties. The post office began operations in 1890, and the town had several businesses, including a bank, a hotel, and a general store. The town's residents had access to various services and amenities, such as a school, a church, and a library. However, the Santee Cypress Company shut down its Ferguson operations in 1915, which led to the town's decline. Workers were laid off, and the post office shut down in 1917. Ferguson became a ghost town, abandoned and forgotten. Over time, the buildings fell into disrepair and were eventually demolished. In the following years, the land that was once Ferguson was repurposed for various projects. The Santee Cooper Power and Navigation Project, which began in 1939, included the construction of the Santee Dam downstream from the Ferguson site. The lake's shallow waters covered most of the town's site, including its streets, buildings, and cemetery. Today, Ferguson is a submerged ghost town that lies beneath the surface of Lake Marion. Despite its disappearance, the legacy of Ferguson lives on. The lumber industry, which was once the town's lifeblood, is still an essential part of the economy of the South, and many companies continue to harvest timber from the region. The town's story is a reminder of the industry's impact on local communities and the importance of fair labor practices. The submerged town is also a unique site for divers and history buffs who can explore the underwater remains of the town. Lake Marion, which covers an area of about 110,000 acres, is a popular spot for fishing, boating, and other recreational activities. The lake is home to various fish species, including largemouth, bass, catfish, and crappie. There are also several campgrounds, picnic areas, and hiking trails around the lake. The lake's proximity to several major cities in South Carolina makes it a popular weekend getaway destination. This video is crazy, but there's so much more history that they don't want you to learn about. The video on the screen is an interesting story that will open your eyes and change your perspective on life. Click on it.
Alright, y'all, that's the end of the video, as y'all can see. But I'm gonna put this person's channel up right here. This the channel, Black Culture Unlocked. Please go subscribe. Please go subscribe. Please go subscribe. This brother, I don't know if it's a brother. I don't know who it is exactly. I don't know who runs this channel, but it's a Black Culture Unlocked channel, and it's speaking about black culture. Y'all can go give it a follow or give it a subscribe if y'all want to, and let me know if y'all like the content on that channel. But I wanted y'all to watch this video because I feel like that video is important. It shedded some light on some things that I just learned about. I didn't even know. I'm pretty sure that there's more towns that were black communities that were thriving back in the day. You feel what I'm saying? But that was interesting. I like that video. This gonna be the end of the video. That I do a pass cool. It's your boy Whittlefoot signing out. Peace, y'all. Matter of fact, I hope y'all got something from that video. But it merges with what I was saying in my last video about the point of view of black Americans. When I was saying how we had black thriving businesses, black thriving communities with sawmills and different mills. I don't remember all the mills they had. I know they had a sawmill, a couple other mills. I didn't catch all the mills, but they had different places. They had churches, schools, thriving black communities. So all my African brothers and sisters that's in the diaspora and that's all over in other places other than America, y'all see how good it was in America for us black folks. You feel what I'm saying? But due to white supremacy and due to white privilege and white hatred and all that kind of stuff, they destroyed what we had. You feel what I'm saying? And now we are the people that we are today. They make it seem like we was just rambunctious. We never was civilized. We never had our own communities that was thriving. We're not able to do that. We're not able to do this. But y'all see for yourself. And this is why they hide history. This is exactly why they hide history. You feel what I'm saying? Because they don't want the truth to get out there. They don't want the truth to get out there, plain as day. You feel what I'm saying? But that out the way past cool. This was that. This was another little spell, but I just wanted to show y'all, so y'all get an idea of how it was. I didn't want to just keep talking about it. I wanted to let y'all see for yourself. But that out the way past cool. This is your boy Whittlefoot signing out. Peace.